So I will talk about the multidisciplinary approach of the ONE-PIX educational toolkit. We believe that ONE-PIX is the perfect tool for higher studies since it's built on open source, and I will give you a few arguments in the next slides to convince you of this. So Mathieu presented you earlier the technical aspects of the kit. I would like to focus now on the educational benefits. So as you can see on the slide, as you might all be aware of this, our kit has been designed as an open source learning tool. It brings together optics, electronics, and computing in one package. And we think it's essential. So since it is fully reconfigurable and open source designed, students have the opportunity to build their own tool. And also by working in a team, students discover how different technical fields work together. And this is the key point. Since we would like to help students and to provide material and technical tools, we would like to help students to engage with industry professionals. So what is our approach today? We start from the idea that the ONE-PIX kit has been designed and developed as an industrial prototyping tool. So that's the departure. But in fact, it's also a great lab work support for educators. You can see on the right our wish list of various interesting subjects. Some have been already initiated and implemented. Some are waiting to be developed, maybe with your help and your skills. The idea is to design contents for experiments and later, if you like so, to share them within the community. Today, we would like to invite you to contribute and to provide also educational resources and to benefit also from educational resources, which will be soon this year on the repo. So many subjects. How do we work to build these resources? We had to decide and to follow some basic principles. We decided of 3. All of them are equally important. First, collab. Second, optical design skills. And third, the one I will be talking about, applications and use cases. It's obvious that collaborative development is important. It's a part of every educational project we are developing. The second aspect, design of instrument from the designer perspective. Our colleagues, Ezra and Liza, will be talking about later after my talk in great details. Today, I will focus on the simple activity, which we hope will be engaging for students and at any level, in fact. Since the subject, I think, is interesting for everyone, I mean the color characterization of paints. That's the starting point. Now you can imagine you're in a classroom. You want to motivate students to engage in a technical activity. We imagine a scenario offering them to paint for real a wall in the lab. They decided to choose the red color. Why not? But they do not agree on the quality of the color, the specifics. They need to match together and to decide of the color. By doing this, we engage students to think about references, names, standards, and we start, in fact, putting them in a situation where they engage critical thinking. Soon they realize that they need to go to the shop and get an official color chart. In this activity, we decided to work with Pantone, and then the students are really motivated to engage in the activity. But first, the pedagogical point of view, we need to think about prerequisites. What do students know about color before going to university? So I don't know if it's exactly the same approach in the different countries, but we decide to start engaging the students with a small quiz or game. Simple game, but maybe tricky sometimes. First question, we ask them if you use a source light, a white source light on a color surface, what will you get? It's obvious. On the cyan surface, you will get cyan. On a magenta surface, you will get magenta. So with this idea, you might start with the basics, but you don't engage yet the students in a critical thinking. Then you ask them if you apply red on a red surface or red on a cyan surface, what will happen? First question, is obvious. The second is maybe more tricky, since with the red light on the science surface, you see nothing. This can be explained easily to school and children, but it's not such an easy thinking. You can do the same also with the yellow example right here. So to summarize, before engaging to university, students have already some concepts in mind, which might be useful to develop in university. They slowly build concepts about spectroscopy, and this starts from the early age. Later, of course, and this is the role of the professors at university. They will need to learn the specifics, units, all the technical details, which might be quite complex sometimes. And that's why we need to use an engaging activity such as a pluridisciplinary activity as we promote today. So now, just to remind you, we like to work together. So for this webinar, we decided to prepare a small activity, a small lab experiment in 4 steps, from measurement to result analysis. First, as usual, the students will have to choose the measurement method. This is the first step for a student to engage thinking and to get into technical details. He has 2 methods, single pixel measurement and hours measurement, as for homogeneous error scaling. And well, this is the right time here to test the skill to see if the students can engage into a basic technical activity. Then some, let's say, manual work, easy work, but still very interesting for the educator to test if the student can be rigorous, can use method, and can also, again, here at this step, engage critical thinking. I think the 3 steps here are quite obvious, but it's worth mentioning here that in all the activities we develop, we make sure that each step corresponds to an official skill required by official institutions. How to use information, how to demonstrate critical thinking, and how to follow on a methodology. This might be the most appealing and interesting slide of the presentation. You can see a demo here of the ONE-PIX running with the first step with the setup of the camera and the target. And here, again, the skill is tested to see if the student is rigorous and if he used the right standard here. Then some software design and software setup. The student can use the graphical user interface to select the homogeneous area you can see here on the screen. Those areas will be scanned by the ONE-PIX in the next step, as you can see here. And well, all these steps are not instantaneous. They take some time, but this, again, it's an advantage since we want the students to think and to manipulate and to think again and to manipulate and to think. So here again, we have a good framework to test the abilities of the students to follow a methodology. The results at the end, we obtain them quite quickly. The first result that you get the flux of all the areas which have been scanned here on this graph. Again, critical thinking. What does this mean? At this stage, it means something maybe, but for the technician, the specialist, it means nothing. The student has to follow on some computations, easy ones, but well, he has to understand them. So he can interpret the results here and see, well, that the red, magenta, or the reds are here quite high in this area and quite low here. It's obvious, they know this from school, but here he can investigate the details and he can try to start thinking about the material, the chemistry maybe, and then again to engage more thinking into physics and chemistry. At this stage, the lab activity is finished, and we can develop, based on this activity, new activities based on machine learning You can keep going with data analysis, with spectroscopy, colorimetry, chemiometry, or engage into more technical and optical engineering lab works with Fourier optics or experimentations and so on. So that's all for today for me. To summarize, we build our pedagogical tools on three main principles: collaborative development, design reconfiguration from a user perspective, and scientific applications. If you're interested, if you want to contribute, please send me an email and I will be happy to answer your questions.